Hello everyone, welcome back to another podcast with KNYA Med. Today we have with us a very special guest, Dr. Dutta. She is a consultant psychiatrist, therapist, Tedx speaker, corporate wellness expert, and founder at Mind Wellness Clinic. We welcome you to the platform, ma'am, and we are very grateful for your presence here.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Juneja. I'm so humbled to be here. Thanks.
Definitely, ma'am. So basically, guys, today our motto is to tell you about a day in the life of a psychiatrist. So in general, someone who is watching this right now for their counseling for NEET PG or someone who is aspiring to be a psychiatrist, it would be a great session for you all to know how the day looks like. So before we begin with the session, just a little about KNYAMed. KNYAMed is an initiative which is celebrating medical professionals by providing them with functional apparels. Our motive is that whenever medical students, medical residents all require, comfortable apparels during their hectic residency, they should always remember KNYAMed. So today in this initiative, we are discussing a day in the life of a psychiatrist. So we can begin it without wasting any much.
Yes, but just a quick note. I think बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो आप, ये apron and scrubs provide कर रहे हो online. Back in the day when I was in my residency and when I was in MBBS, so I'm from Delhi and मैं हर बारी Delhi जाके अपने apron stitch कराती थी. Right. Because there was this one particular shop near Ames where I would give my size and then size used to change. MBBS में बहुत size change होता है ना सबका. We gain, we lose, we gain, we lose. And I remember there was this one shop where everybody would go and the apron on the campus used to be not standardized according to our size. So I think what you guys are doing is excellent.
Right, definitely. And so the standardization process, as we can say it. So basically, yes, all your support and doctor support. So basically, I think we can begin with the podcast. So just, a mind question in everyone's mind is that how does a day look like? Like how do you begin your day and what usually OPD and all looks like?
So first of all, I practice in private sector. So my version is going to be, of course, from that space. Also, a quick note, I'm an online psychiatrist at the moment, which means that during the pandemic and thereafter, I've completely taken my practice online. So if you're picking up psychiatry, know that this is a very good time to get into psychiatry. Coming to a day in the life of a psychiatrist, MBBS, MD में तो अलग था. I think that I can share at the end about what a residency would look like as a separate part. But I have different day is a different feeling, of course. There is no consistency in everything. But I typically have 3 types of days, I think. One is a more languish, easygoing start days. Right. Those are the days I wake up super early. Then there are the more rushed days. Those are the days when I cannot wake up very early. And I'll tell you what early for me is and what late for me is. And then there are days which are exceptional, maybe a holiday or maybe, one of those days when I'm taking it light, like today. So First of all, I think being a psychiatrist, the best part is if you're a consultant, if you are a private practitioner, you can decide your own hours. Okay. So Thursday is my weekly day off. Okay. I take this day off every week to take care of myself. Right. So as a psychiatrist, the opportunity to not constantly, har samay kuch karte rehna hai is not important because you can work on a Sunday, you can work on a weekday, weekends, all of their days. Now, typically my day starts on a very good day. It would start around 6 o'clock. That's the good day, the one I was saying to easy start. I wake up, I drink hot water, I meditate a little bit. I'm a strong advocate for meditation. And I am trying to work out in the morning, but workouts are typically reserved for the evening. Then I get ready in the kitchen. I make my kids and my own breakfast. I always make one meal myself. We have a cook, but I like to make one meal ourselves. It keeps me grounded to the fact कि आना चाहिए कल को फिर से कुछ हो जाए तो, and throughout residency की चाय खुद बनाना तो आता है. After that, drop the kid, shower, get ready, and then my OPD begins, the virtual OPD, so to speak. The other days, which I said, jo thode hectic hote hain, they start at 6:30. So there's a 30-minute window, I think, changes my entire mood and tone for the day. And this is a thought experiment I have done on myself. 6 बजे 6 या 6 से पहले 5:30 भी उठती हूँ मैं कभी-कभी versus 6:30. जमीन आसमान का फर्क होता है in the way that I, progress through the day, because वो आधे घंटे में I can do so much for myself versus if I wake up at 6:30, nothing for myself is done. Then I have to push it for evening. Now, ideally, I think as a psychiatrist, I must mention this. I also practice therapy. So my practice structure may be very different than maybe some of the other psychiatrists. Most psychiatrists would see patients mainly from the biological standpoint, prescribe, and then send off.
Right.
I like to give everybody at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
I think 30 minutes में at least एक जान पहचान, एक bonding, एक rapport, एक खुलना, ये सब होता है. Otherwise, it's a very rushed conversation with someone कि हाँ क्या हुआ है, अच्छा सर्दी खांसी तो है नहीं, it's mental health, it's a lot of things, right? So I start off typically around 8:45, and then I have back-to-back sessions. But here are a few good things that you can do for yourself if you're going to start practicing. I like to keep like a 5 to 10 minute buffer between 2 appointments for myself.
Right.
Now that 5 to 10 minutes can be used to make prescription. It can be used to walk around. It can be used to get some water. It could be used to just kind of, bathroom break, or just kind of, sometimes you need to detox because psychiatry बहुत heavy होती है ना. Right. You hear people's anguish. So sometimes process khud karne ke liye you need those 5-10 minutes. Sometimes I give it to the patient. So it depends. So I start working in a day. If let's say hypothetically, agar hum kahe kya kya dekhti hu main, most common diagnosis is anxiety. Right. All forms of anxiety. So generalized anxiety, COVID में obviously बहुत ज़्यादा health anxiety थी लोगों को. Panic attack is super common. OCD is super common. Yesterday I saw 5 cases of OCD, and by the 5th case I was literally thinking आज तो OCD day है, पूरे भरा हुआ था OCD से. So a bulk of my patient is anxiety, OCD, panic, generalized anxiety, phobias, hypochondriasis. And then the next chunk is depression. Okay. Now, in private practice, you don't find the depression from the standpoint those who are completely debilitated. These are more functional folks like you and I. Smiling depression, atypical depression, right? So we see a lot of depression cases. That's super common. Uske baad we see a bulk of relationship-related issues. Again, very common. Substance abuse, substance addiction. Again, very common in the youth, very common in doctors. I must say this, if a doctor is watching it, they should also know it. Hai na? We are not exempt from any illness. Hame sab kuch ho sakta hai. And insomnia is a very common feature that a psychiatrist sees day in, day out. Tabhi kuch log humko sone wale doctor kehte hain. Because sona matlab gold, ki sona matlab neend wala. So it depends. And I wrap up work in the evening about 5ish. Then I pump out some prescriptions क्योंकि उसमें भी time लगता है. I like to write an elaborate history. That was my training. I was always told जितना लिख सकते हैं लिखो. I always take my notes while seeing the patient. And what's amazing is that I work with some excellent therapists as a part of my team. So we refer out to each other. So a lot of these are cases that I have sent them or they have sent me. So एक tandem एक group में प्रैक्टिस करने का अच्छी बात ये हो जाती है कि मान लीजिए मैं किसी की मेडिसिन प्रिस्क्राइब कर रही हूँ मगर उनकी थेरेपी मैं नहीं कर रही हूँ तो मैं अपनी टीम में से किसी और जान पहचान के थेरेपिस्ट को रेफर करती हूँ so that they and I can work in together in liaison with that patient. So sometimes goes in, sometimes speaking to some of these therapists, and now starts my favorite time of the day, which is me time. Right. So I then pick up my shoes, I go for a run or I work out. We have a gym at home. I spend time with my little one. I am also a mommy 24/7. So get some nice time with my child, do something completely non-gadget related, some activity, something. And I think by 7ish, have my food. My partner comes home. We vent to each other. Being a doctor is so hard. One guy doctor, kya kar rahe hai? No, I'm just joking. I'm not putting you off. We talk about the reality of life. Acha bura jo bhi hota hai. And then by the time our kid goes to sleep, that's around 8:30, and my husband and I take turns to take care of my child. So we have that signed up. And then we unwind, and by 10:30, you will see me disconnected from social media at 10 o'clock. That's a rule I have for myself. Right. You will not see me on social media before a certain time and after a certain time. Koshish rehti hai. Right. I am also human, but most days. And then, I conk off and I sleep. Right. Is there anything else you wanted to know about the day?
So I think it looks very, glorious when we look at the outside, that kind of a very balanced day, but obviously every day has its own challenges, and the one who faces it is the matter.
Absolutely. But balance is one of my key values, which I keep trying to bring in because, I don't want to work to the point. I can work 3 more hours. If you talk about it, most of us doctors are used to slogging it off for 12 plus hours, right? तो मैं चाहूँ तो मैं सुबह 8 से रात को 8 भी पेशेंट देख सकती हूँ, but मेरी quality of life खराब हो जाती है. तो I strongly believe that as a psychiatrist, the beautiful gift that we have is of understanding ourselves a lot better. I'm not saying आप नहीं समझते होंगे अपने आप को, but हम अपने आप को अच्छे से समझ पाते हैं. तो यूज करिए अपने लिए कुछ do's and do not set off करिए. I put that in practice right from the beginning. And yeah, the aim is to balance, but every day is not balanced. There are very bad days, there are very great days, there are vulnerable days, there are upside down days. So yeah.
Right. Definitely. So I think one message which everyone can, take it from here is a huge form of diversity. It's all up to you. Like ma'am said that, you can practice online also, you can practice offline also. Then you can also be someone who is working relentlessly 12 hours or someone setting up boundaries. So it's all up to us that how we want to basically, vent out ultimately सबको करना है, but ये एक सेट पॉइंट होता है कि हाँ इतना बुरा भी नहीं हुआ है. So that is something that one can always figure out. So now ma'am, one thing, one notion that even general public or sometimes doctor also have is कि as a psychiatrist there can be two options. One thing that when you listen to everyone problem, you become very grateful that you are someone who is either solving them or you understand that problems. Or the second thing, you get so affected that you start thinking in their shoes that how horrible things are for them, and then you get disturbed. So this notion is something which is very common कि लोग या तो कहते हैं कि या तो आप बहुत अच्छे हो जाओगे या आप भी थोड़े थोड़े जैसे कहते हैं कि अफेक्ट हो जाओगे. So how do you balance both of these things to stay neutral, so that you can guide your patients very well?
Very nice question. I think residency से start करना पड़ता है पहली बात. This doesn't have to happen only when you're in private practice or when you're in your job. From the residency days, you need to set out that what am I really looking for? What is my idea of happiness? When do I feel content? Because contentment is really important, right? I'll be honest, of course, कभी-कभी affect करती हैं कुछ चीजें. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि नहीं affect करती हैं. But the beauty of psychiatry residency is they teach you how to compartmentalize your life, and it is strict watershed boundary नहीं हो सकता है, but of course you learn to. So after 5 o'clock, my daughter would knock my door, even though she can't tell time, by the way, she's just going to be 5. But she knows कि ये boundary set हो गई है. So that consistency helps me also कि now I need to log out of my system mentally as well. Number one. Number two, I think going to therapy yourself really helps, guys. I go to therapy, and I'm very proud to say that as a mental health professional, we should all definitely take care of ourselves. So going to therapy helps me a big amount, because whenever I sit down there and I am in the humbling shoes of being taken care of, मुझे अच्छा लगता है, मुझे वेंट करने को मिलता है, मुझे प्रोसेस करने को मिलता है, मुझे अपने आप को समझने में मिलता है कि मैंने वहां पे वो डिसीजन लिया, मेरे को अफेक्ट क्यों किया. कभी-कभी हमारे खुद के डिसीजन भी अफेक्ट करते हैं. The third is having a very good network of people who can take care of you. So I told you I have a couple of people who really are my safe spaces to go to. And finally is you yourself. अपना ध्यान खुद ही रखना पड़ता है eventually. I have always been very cognizant of the fact that things like meditation, exercise, journaling, I write a gratitude journal also very relentlessly. And these things do help you in the long run if you do it regularly. So these are all the ways that, yes, if you're getting into psychiatry, forget psychiatry, if you're getting into any specialty as a doctor, अपने कुछ चीजें set करना starting से करना पड़ेगा. Learn to say no. Right. Very important. So I don't see child psychiatry anymore because online देखने में मुश्किल होता है, honestly speaking. Right. Offline तक मैं देखती थी. So that's a no for me. And as a doctor, you should also learn कि कहाँ पे refer करना चाहिए दूसरे को. So right. That's another way that you learn to kind of compartmentalize your life.
Right. So definitely a lot of things to learn from you, like how you have set your boundaries and how you are obviously following them. But apart from this, there are times when all of this feel worth it basically, and there are also some times then we feel what is the worth of all of these things. So on the similar,
I already said it to you.
Right. So on a similar note, any particular best incident or worst incident, something which you would like to share which is very personal to you or you want everyone should know in general?
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of vulnerability. जरूर शेयर करना चाहिए. हमको अपनी अच्छी चीजें शेयर करनी चाहिए ताकि दूसरे लोग आपसे समझें कि ओके वाओ दिस पर्सन इज अचीव्ड. और अपनी बुरी चीजें भी शेयर करनी चाहिए, so that other people also still get inspired and learn, right? So why not? So okay, best feeling. The best feeling is जब schizophrenia better होता है.
Okay.
Practice wise मैं आपको कह रही हूँ.
Right.
It is a surreal moment. मतलब जब कोई hallucination delusion लेकर आया हो, and जब वो चीज चेंज होती है और insight develop होती है, it's like you know, a baby born kind of feeling. You feel so humbled by the experience, क्योंकि आपको समझ आता है that you've been a part of something almost miraculous, right? Completely dysfunctional, completely not taking care of themselves, and आपने मदद की उनको into coming into this normal functionality. Beautiful experience. So जब भी मैंने schizophrenia या bipolar affective disorder with mania, you know, or very severe depression, जब भी इन cases में मदद कर पाई हूँ, I have invariably felt that moment, that feeling, and the family is also sort of, you know, family or the patient themselves have come back and said that, doctor, you've saved my life. So that is a beautiful feeling. Not so nice feelings. So I think जब first time आपसे कोई गलती होती है, तब बहुत अजीब सा लगता है. तो मैं personal share करती हूँ. EPR is extrapyramidal reaction, EPS, EPR. तो एक बारी मैंने एक this is very interesting actually. I was thinking of the other day. I was sharing it with someone. So I used to work in a government hospital. Okay. Now बिना निंदा करे, गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में जो दवाइयां दी जाती हैं वो कभी बहुत प्योर क्वालिटी नहीं निकलती हैं, आपको पता है, राइट? और प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिस में हम ऑब्वियसली जो ब्रांड्स यूज करते हैं, दे आर मच मोर बेटर एंड स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड. सो एक बार ऐसा हुआ दैट इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ माय प्रैक्टिस मैंने एक XYZ डोसेज में प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिस पर लिखी, ऑफन एंटी साइकोटिक, जो कि मैं अपनी गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में दिन रात लिखती थी. जैसे ही उस इंसान ने बाहर की दवाई लेके खाया तो उसको EPR बैठ गया. And I was very bamboozled. I said, ये कैसे हो सकता है? Dosage तो correct है. And you know, वो EPR में एकदम full ऐसे अटक के लेकर आया, and I had to give him like, you know, an organ to get rid of this EPR symptom. But then I sat and I spoke with some of my friends, and we realized कि government का जो stock था वो थोड़ा diluted होता है. तो हम हमेशा 2 times X use कर रहे थे दवाइयाँ, और बाहर, क्योंकि first time private से कहीं लिखी थी, क्योंकि government में allowed नहीं होता है, right? लिखना बाहर की. So the thing is, that was a very scary moment for me. In that moment where I thought, I think I'm doing everything textbook, but this person has landed with an EPR. How do I solve this? Another very difficult moment, I think, जो हम सभी psychiatrists की life में हुआ है, is the first time you lose a patient to suicide. Very upsetting. The first time मुझे बहुत affect किया था. It had personalize कर लेते हैं हम. I could have done something, right? ग्रेजुअली सीखा है कैसे उसको डील करना, खुद भी थेरेपी जाके उसके बारे में बात करके काफी बारी कुछ समझ आता है कि ठीक है, ग्रीफ हमारा भी है, इवन दो हमारे लव वन नहीं थे, राइट? बट फर्स्ट टाइम आई लॉस्ट समवन टू सुसाइड, अ पेशेंट. काफी नर्व रैकिंग था, काफी डिस्टर्बिंग था. सो दीस आर द हाइज एंड लोज ऑफ साइकियाट्री.
Right, definitely. So I think this entire, you know, incident also shares some powerful insight. Like right now, if I'm an intern, so I know that what I have read in my final year is way different from what I learn in wards. And on the similar note, when you are as a resident, so maybe if you are trying to, you know, do a private practice later on, so you should always understand that life inside a hospital where you are a resident is very different from, you know, private practice. So I think crucial things to know in this is have a good support group eventually, like you discussed with your friends, and basically that's how networking is very important for doctors as well, that we always are, you know, in constant touch with seniors, हमेशा रहते हैं कहीं ना कहीं. So that is something that we all also look forward to you, ma'am. And I think in this podcast, many of doctors have been inspired particularly to, you know, choose the branch as well, in general know about it. So I think we can surely, you know, reach out to ma'am as well on her Instagram page if you have any other queries. So at the end, I would like to, you know, ask you a particular message, say of 2-3 minutes, which you want to share with all the young minds watching it, or maybe someone who is just about to begin his private consultancy, just a resident who has walked off. So something which you want to share.
Okay, great. I wish there was a manual, honestly. कोई manual नहीं है कैसे start करते हैं अपनी practice, चाहे गवर्नमेंट में हो प्राइवेट में हो, SRship करनी है, कोई manual नहीं है. इसलिए आप अपना manual खुद बनाइए. I strongly believe, because see, your background, my background are going to be different. Maybe you come from a tier to city, maybe you come from a metro, maybe you have to send money back home, maybe you are fortunate enough to not want to send money back home. तो बहुत सारे फैक्टर होते हैं, इसलिए जब भी लोग एक दूसरे से सलाह ले देते हैं ना, मैं रियलाइज करती हूँ कि लोग बहुत जेनरिक सलाह देते हैं, पहली बात. दूसरी बात ये है कि आपकी नीड्स आपके वैल्यू सिस्टम के साथ ज्वाइन करनी चाहिए. मतलब dig deep, work on your values. जैसे मैंने कहा, balance is a very strong reason why I took psychiatry also, by the way, because I wanted a balanced life. I didn't want night shifts. मैं से night में नहीं जागा जाता. So my husband still laughs. He's a surgeon. So he says, अच्छा तुम्हें रात का अगर होता है, like I would have put up my hands and said, no, not my thing. So know your limitations, guys. It's very easy to go with the flow and be like, अरे सब कर रहे हैं, मैं क्यों नहीं कर सकता, right? Or maybe just live your parents' dream out and pick up a particular residency, or want to do something because you've been told that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. Listen to your gut. My strong message to everybody: always listen to your instinct. Our instinct is so powerful, right? And eventually, one small message: if you're going to start any kind of practice, never badmouth another doctor. You know, the non-medicals are always listening for some doctors' feedback on some doctor. एक बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रिंसिपल बना लो, किसी की बुराई नहीं करनी है. तुमको मैल प्रैक्टिस दिख रही है, मैल प्रैक्टिस ठीक है, ठीक करने की कोशिश करो. बॉडी के थ्रू जाकर अगर IMA वगैरह के साथ करना है, बात कर सकते हो. But the moment you badmouth, just recently somebody was saying that, oh, XYZ डॉक्टर बहुत बुरा है, आपकी क्या राय है? And I said, मेरी कोई राय नहीं है, ना मैं उनको जानती हूँ, और उनकी प्रैक्टिस के हिसाब से जो दवाइयाँ लिखी हैं वो सही लिखी हैं. आप अगर किसी को बैड माउथ करेंगे तो आपको 100% कोई बैड माउथ करेगा. So we are all in this together, right? Akshat, we are supposed to be doctor fraternity friends. We are not foes. Let's stop putting each other down. I think हम सब grow कर सकते हैं. India is such a wonderful country where you get treatment the moment you need it, not like America where the wait period is so long, right? So let's all just get together, keep on working the medical fraternity. I think the medicals of today are such inspiring folks like you, Dr. Akshat, that you're an entrepreneur, you're a doctor, you're doing so much more, you're a teacher, you're also taking classes, and I think that's the generation that I'm so proud of. So all the best, whatever residency you take, put your 100% in it. And yes, if you picked up medical, if you picked up psychiatry especially, then welcome to the fraternity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your compliments as well. So I think the crux message also that ma'am delivered was that it's very important that usually the general public is very, something which is, they see doctors as someone very else. And now if we also contributed in such a similar manner of, doing bad mouthing, then obviously that will something which is not good for the fraternity as well. So I think that was a really great time, ma'am. We enjoyed the session throughout. And I think we would like to have more and more sessions on such powerful topics as and when you get time. So thank you so much for connecting, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. All right.
You.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Happy Diwali. Bye.
Happy Diwali, ma'am.